Have you ever given everything you had to the people you loved, only to discover that they never truly loved you? They only loved what you could provide? Today's story is a heartbreaking reminder that sometimes the people who share your last name can become the ones who hurt you the most. Stay with me until the very end, because what happened 90 days after this family threw their own daughter out changed every one of their lives forever. And if you enjoy powerful emotional stories about betrayal, justice, and finding the strength to rebuild, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss our next story. For years, I believed that family came before everything else. Every paycheck I earned disappeared before I could enjoy a single dollar of it, but I convinced myself that was simply what a loving daughter was supposed to do. My name is Emily, and at 28 years old, I worked as a financial analyst in Seattle. My job demanded long hours, endless deadlines, and constant pressure, but I accepted every challenge because I thought my sacrifices were protecting the people I loved. My parents hadn't worked steadily in years. My father always claimed his health prevented him from finding another job, while my mother insisted she was too busy taking care of the household. My younger sister, Chloe, was treated like the center of the universe. Every dream she had instantly became the family's top priority. Every problem she created somehow became my responsibility to solve. I paid the mortgage, I covered the utilities, I bought groceries. I even paid the insurance on the SUV everyone else drove, while I commuted in an old sedan that rattled every morning. Every month I promised myself things would improve. Every month I believed my parents would finally appreciate everything I had done. Instead, they simply expected more. For nearly 4 years, I secretly built a wedding fund. It wasn't only about getting married someday. It represented hope, freedom, a chance to finally have a home that belonged to me, instead of constantly carrying everyone else's burdens. Every overtime shift and every skipped vacation added another small deposit, until I finally reached $45,000. Then everything changed. One Saturday evening, my parents walked into my room without knocking. Chloe followed behind them wearing an excited smile. My mother spoke first. "Your sister found the perfect destination wedding package. Her fiancé's family expects something elegant. She needs your wedding fund." I stared at her. My wedding fund? My father nodded as though the request was completely reasonable. "You'll earn it back. Chloe deserves this opportunity." I looked at my sister. She never looked embarrassed. Instead, she smiled. "I knew you'd understand." Something inside me finally broke. I slowly stood up. "I've spent years paying every bill in this house," I said quietly. "I sacrificed my own future, while everyone else enjoyed theirs. I'm not giving anyone my savings." The room exploded. My mother called me selfish. My father accused me of destroying the family. Chloe burst into dramatic tears, insisting I wanted to ruin her happiness. Within minutes, my parents were throwing my clothes into garbage bags. My father pointed toward the front door. "If you care more about money than your own family," he shouted, "then you don't belong in this house." They pushed me outside, carrying nothing except one bag of clothes and my purse. The front door slammed behind me. Standing on that sidewalk, I cried harder than I ever had in my life. But while sitting inside a rideshare headed toward a cheap motel, another feeling slowly replaced the pain. Clarity. For years I believed I was supporting my family. The truth was much uglier. I wasn't their daughter. I was their paycheck. The following morning, I stopped feeling guilty. Instead, I started making decisions. Every major household payment came from my accounts. The mortgage autopay, the electric bill, the internet, the streaming services, even the premium family health insurance that covered all 4 of us. One by one, I removed my payment information. I notified every company that I was no longer responsible for those expenses. Then I rented a small apartment across town. It wasn't luxurious, but it was peaceful. For the first time in years, silence felt comforting instead of lonely. I blocked every angry message that arrived. Some called me heartless. Others demanded I come home immediately. None of them apologized. Exactly 90 days later, my phone rang from an unfamiliar number. Against my better judgment, I answered. It was my mother. She was crying. The bank had started foreclosure proceedings. The electricity had already been disconnected twice. The SUV had been repossessed. Chloe's expensive wedding had been cancelled after her fiancé discovered the family's financial situation. She had moved back home, furious at everyone. "We need you," my mother whispered. "Please come back." For a long moment, I stayed silent. Then I asked a simple question. "Do you need me? Or do you need my paycheck?" She couldn't answer. The silence told me everything. A week later, curiosity led me to drive past my childhood home. Moving trucks filled the driveway. My parents loaded worn furniture into a small rental truck. The beautiful house I had spent years paying for belonged to someone else now. Chloe stood near the curb arguing with her former fiancé over the phone. None of them looked at peace. For the first time, I realized their downfall hadn't happened because I abandoned them. It happened because they had spent years building a life that depended entirely on someone they never appreciated. Meanwhile, my own life kept improving. Without carrying everyone else's responsibilities, my work performance reached new heights. I received another promotion. I traveled for the first time in years. I met Daniel during a volunteer event at a local community center. He admired kindness but never expected me to sacrifice myself for people who refused to respect me. Months later, he proposed with a simple ring and genuine love. It meant more than any expensive ceremony ever could. As I stood beside him overlooking the ocean after our quiet wedding, I realized something I wish I had understood much earlier. Love should never require destroying yourself to keep someone else comfortable. Real family celebrates your happiness instead of demanding your sacrifices. Looking back, I don't hate my parents anymore. I simply accepted the truth. Sometimes walking away isn't revenge. Sometimes it's survival. And the greatest victory isn't watching the people who hurt you lose everything. It's finally building a life where they no longer have the power to take anything from you. For years, I believed that love was something you earned through sacrifice. I thought if I worked harder, gave more, and expected less, one day my family would finally see me. Instead, they only saw what I could provide. My name is Natalie, and at 29 years old, I was the one holding my entire family together, without realizing that the moment I disappeared, everything they had built on my shoulders would collapse. I worked as a senior operations manager at a logistics company in Denver. My days started before sunrise and usually ended after dark. 60-hour workweeks had become normal. Every promotion I earned meant more responsibility, but also more money that immediately disappeared into household bills. My parents stopped working years earlier. My father always had another excuse. My mother claimed she was too overwhelmed to find a job. Then there was my younger sister, Lily. Lily was the golden child. She never heard the word no. If she wanted designer clothes, she got them. If she wanted expensive vacations, someone found a way to pay. That someone was always me. Every month my salary covered the mortgage, electricity, groceries, internet, insurance, and even Lily's credit card payments. Meanwhile, I drove an aging sedan that constantly needed repairs, while my family borrowed the SUV I was still paying off. Whenever I came home exhausted, nobody asked how my day had been. Instead, someone handed me another bill. I kept convincing myself that family helped each other. But looking back now, I was the only one helping. Everything finally changed during my parents' anniversary dinner. We were sitting around the dining table when Lily casually announced she wanted to open an online fashion boutique. She had no business plan, no savings, just another dream that everyone expected me to finance. My mother smiled at me. "Natalie, you've always supported your sister." My father nodded. "You should invest your savings. Family comes first." I quietly placed my fork on the table. "I'm not giving away my savings." Silence filled the room. "I've spent 6 years building that money for my own future," I continued. "I've already paid for almost everything in this house. This time, I'm choosing myself." Lily's face instantly changed. "So you're jealous?" My mother slammed her hand on the table. "After everything we've done for you?" I almost laughed. Everything they had done? I had paid for nearly everything they owned. The argument exploded. Voices became screams. My father stood up and pointed toward the front door. If you don't support this family anymore, then you don't belong here. I thought he would calm down. He didn't. Within minutes, my clothes were stuffed into 2 garbage bags. My mother handed them to me without emotion. Lily stood behind them with crossed arms. Nobody stopped me. Nobody apologized. The front door closed. And just like that, I no longer had a family. I checked into a small extended stay hotel that night. I cried until sunrise. Years of guilt, disappointment, and heartbreak poured out all at once. Then something unexpected happened. The guilt disappeared. I realized they hadn't chosen Lily because they loved her more. They chose her because they believed I would always come back. The next morning, I opened my laptop. Every major payment connected to that house came from my bank account. The mortgage, utilities, streaming services, phone plans, internet, even the monthly security system subscription. One after another, I canceled every automatic payment connected to my finances. Then I changed banks, updated my payroll information, removed my family from my employer-sponsored insurance plan. Everything I did was completely legal. I wasn't taking anything from them. I was simply stopping the support they believed they were entitled to forever. 2 weeks later, I moved into a quiet apartment overlooking a city park. It wasn't huge. It wasn't fancy. But for the first time in years, it actually felt like home. My phone exploded every day. Angry texts, missed calls, voicemails demanding I come back. Not one message asked if I was okay. Not one message apologized. So I stayed silent. Life slowly became peaceful. I started sleeping through the night. I spent weekends reading instead of working overtime. I even joined a hiking club where I met incredible people who appreciated me simply for being myself. Then exactly 90 days after they forced me out, my father called from an unknown number. His voice sounded completely different. Broken. The bank is starting foreclosure. I didn't answer. We're behind on every payment. Still, I stayed silent. The electricity was disconnected yesterday. He took a deep breath. We need you. Those 3 words echoed inside my mind. Not, we miss you. Not, we're sorry. Only, we need you. I quietly asked one question. Would you still need me if I didn't have money? The line remained silent. That silence became my answer. A few days later, I drove past my childhood neighborhood. A moving truck stood outside our house. Furniture filled the driveway. My parents looked exhausted. Lily sat on the porch crying. Her boutique never opened. Without my financial support, every dream built on my paycheck disappeared. Watching them wasn't satisfying. It was sad, because none of it had to happen. They didn't lose everything because I left. They lost everything because they built their lives on someone they never appreciated. Meanwhile, my own life flourished. Without constant financial pressure, I accepted a leadership position at work. My income grew. I traveled overseas for the first time. Most importantly, I rediscovered who I was, outside of being everyone's provider. A year later, I met Adam during a charity fundraiser. He respected my boundaries. He admired my strength. When I finally shared my past, he didn't ask why I walked away. He simply said, "You saved yourself." Those words healed something inside me that years of sacrifice never could. Today, we live in a peaceful home, filled with respect instead of guilt. Looking back, I understand something I wish I had learned much sooner. Real love never demands that one person carries everyone else's weight. Family should lift you up, not stand on your shoulders until you collapse. Walking away wasn't revenge. It was survival. And sometimes, protecting your own peace is the bravest decision you'll ever make. If this story touched your heart, let me know what you would have done in my place. Would you have gone back after 90 days, or would you have walked away for good? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoy emotional stories about betrayal, resilience, and finding the strength to rebuild, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss our next story.